Welcome back. Okay, so I want to start a series where I'm, like you guys know, part of this Forging It Forward movement and really excited to get into this. So this video is going to be about, I just watched Forge and Fire and the thing bit me and I want to start doing things. Okay, so I'm going to give you a few tips and I'm going to help you out to start what you need, what you have to look into getting, and then from there on we can forge up the tools we need to get to a point where you can make a knife or a failure like this. I was really excited about this, and this one would have been a really nice knife, but I'm pretty sure this thing was case hardened. It was a planer blade from a mill, and I tried hardening it with oil, water, ice water, super quench, nothing, just nothing. It was hard before, it's not hard anymore. So what you will need to look at is, I want to try and get into how to make a small little anvil, even if it's a little steak anvil or something cheap that you can make for yourself and use. I want to get into making tongs so you can stop using, I'll show you a bunch of tools that you'll start out with to start migrating away from those tools. Punches, so you can punch the holes in your tongs. This is my very first pair of tongs I ever made. It started out as 2 rail spikes, and this is how far I got. I don't know if you can see, but if it'll zoom in, so I can't see. I'm using my phone as a camera, which sucks. But very first pair of tongs. I don't use them anymore, to be honest. I got a different pair of flat nip tongs that a guy made for me, but damn do they work good. I love these. Now I showed in the previous video I got some stock. They're round stock, square stock, all that kind of stuff. I'll be making my own tongs then. I mean, difference in quality. I'm not gonna say quality, but a finished product. I mean, this looks nicer, this one, than this one does, but this one works so much better. Holy crap, this one thing works amazingly. So, as a starter smith, you will run to a hardware store and look at hammers. Now personally, you're gonna look on the rack and it says blacksmithing hammer. As you can see, this thing is brand new. I've never used it. I got it as a gift from a guy when I started out 4 or 5 years ago. Sorry, I haven't used it yet. It has been burnt though from stuff falling off my anvil. I don't use this because the edges on this thing leave the ugliest marks in steel. And the reason how I know this, and I said I haven't used this before, is because I have another one. This one I have used before. I actually broke the previous handle. No, I didn't, not on this one. It's the other one. But this is a 4-pounder or a 3.5. I don't like using these because they leave an ugly mark in your steel when you're beating it. And the pins on these things too, like they leave bad marks and it's hard to get them out. So when you go to a store and you buy a hammer, a hardware shop, I like these. Personally, they handle really good. Like, these are really good hammers. Now I've dressed this face, I've rounded it up, sanded it down, just to get a nice little round profile on it, and then this side has a flatter profile on it. I'm looking actually now, I might ask James from County Line Forge to make me a hammer maybe. James, wink wink, nudge nudge. And I'll buy that from him at the end of the month probably. But I have no smithing hammers, like handmade smithing hammers. It's all store-bought. So here's the other one. I bought this for $9 at a really cheap store, like a thrift store type deal. And I went into it thinking, okay, I'm going to edit this thing to make a rounding hammer. Problem with this was, first off, the price, because this does not harden. So this is hardened face, hardened. I don't know if you guys can see, but marks everywhere. It's split everywhere, and yeah, just you buy a hammer, at least invest a little bit of money in it. You will not be sorry when you put a little extra money into it. I know it is a cheap hobby if you want it to be, but at least the thing that you need most, your hammer, make sure it's a good one. It changes everything when you start forging, and you will notice it, I guarantee you. Then I have a little 2-pounder too. This was pretty much the same as this one, just smaller, and I ground it down and worked it a bit. I don't use a peen on it. I actually, if I want to spread my steel, I use the bottom part of the rounding face, and I hit down like this, and that seems to work really good. Like, that's my style of doing it, and that's what I've been doing. Secondly, you need something to hold the piece of stock you want to forge, and 99% of new guys start out with one of these. This is called a piece of very hot steel slips out of the jaws and hits you in the face. Pair of tongs or pliers. They can adjust to any size to make it easier for it to slip out and hit you in the face. But this is what people start out with. I have used this in the beginning. I actually did use this in the beginning. That's why this tip is dirty, because I sometimes use it now just to dunk stuff in oil. But if you go something like this, this will help you out a lot in the beginning, especially for controlling the piece of stock that you're beating on. If you use this, where's that piece of, right, there we go. Here's my issue I have with it. Let's adjust it to medium velocity into your face. If you grab it like this, you have that problem. You can squeeze the crap out of it. That's the problem you have. If you put it in this way and you beat on it, there's not really much room. I mean, from trying to beat this to where your hand is, in my opinion, is a little unsafe, and I like my hands, and I've hit them before with hammers, and it's not a good feeling, especially when you're got the music pumping in the background and you're feeling, yeah, I'm gonna make a knife, and then bang, break a hand. That's why I don't like these. But like I said, a pair of ice grips works miracles. Any size you want. You can tighten it up as much as you want. You put it in the fire, have these pre-adjusted, and clamp in your piece of steel. It keeps in pretty good, so it doesn't move around as much as it would with that other thing. There. Nothing. Okay? These work really good. The kinds of wear and tear you have to look at in one of these is if you can see inside there, that little spring, that tensioner spring, right there. The more you use this thing, the more it heats up, and it starts taking the springiness out of your spring. So that's definitely one thing you have to watch out for. I mean, if you use these, after you beat the piece of steel, take it off and just dunk this in water just to keep it cool and to save the heat treat on the spring. Okay? But definitely, if you buy something at the store and you're going to start with this, grab yourself a pair of these and one of these. Safety glasses. I cannot stress how important safety glasses are. They are a pain in the butt if you want to put them on. They're not comfortable, doesn't matter what pair you buy. Well, there are actually like really expensive ones, but safety glasses are extremely important. I cannot explain how many times I've been hit in the face with scale popping off. It's not a good feeling, and you can and will lose an eye if that thing goes to the right place. So, good starter set, these two. And then obviously something to beat it on. So, yeah, we'll go more into that. So, another thing you're going to need to start out with is the file. I'd go flat bastardo and a nice rounding file. These are also a very good thing to have, especially when you want to start finishing a knife or something. They do leave ugly ass marks in steel after you're done, but at least you can get a finished product in the end. And then you can start looking into building yourself a file jig. I go maximum 20 bucks. You can make a nice file jig. But I'm pretty sure you can do it for no money at all. If you go to a grocery store and you go to the back and grab a pallet, cut that up, and there's videos on YouTube about a guy making a nice little file jig with holes through, and the ring bolt that's in there with a rod and the file attached to it, and it works. Wow, it works good. It works really good. So for a finished product, at the end, to make it easier for yourself, instead of clamping the thing in a vise or something sitting there with a file, build a filing jig to get the bevels into your knife. I'm gonna buy a grinder. Buy a grinder with 120 grit flat disc. Makes a nice finished look too. Secondly, you need a piece of steel, obviously, to start doing something. So I remember starting out, and I wanted to get into forging and heat treating and all that kind of awesome stuff. I walked around and I thought, okay, what steels are good? I started watching YouTube. Ooh, guys, that's when the wrench knife thing, you know, holy crap, wrenches, let's make a knife out of it. Still looks good till this day. My scar from a wrench knife, I'll tell you about that later. It is walking around trying to figure out what types of steel you need. Generally, the easiest thing I find to get a hold of is 5160, which is your coil springs and leaf springs. Personally, that's what I have found to be the easiest to get. I ran into one of the Canadian rail yards type deals where they have their service equipment in and their scrap bins. And I ran inside and asked the guys, hey guys, I wanna you know, get into the whole blacksmithing thing now, and knife making. And I was wondering if you guys have a few rail spikes that I can have, like about 4 or 5 of them. And the guy burst out laughing. And I actually felt really offended because I thought the guy was thinking that I was an idiot. And he stops laughing and he looks at me and goes, did you see that big bin outside? I'm like, yeah. He says, yeah. If you get a bucket in there, grab the bucket and take as many rail spikes as you need. Ran outside, climbed on top of this thing, and I looked inside, and when I saw what was in there, it was like, wow. And I just grabbed everything, as much as I could fit into a little, I think it was a grease bucket, about that size. I probably fit around 30 rail spikes in there, and a bunch of spring clips, and I still have the spring clips, and I still have all the rail spikes. And there was 2 or 3 coils, and I thought it was probably off of their trucks, but it's on the rail, on the rail carts, the coil springs. I grabbed 2 of them. There's the one, that one there, and I have another one. I'm pretty sure I have another one somewhere. I don't know where it is. So that thing's full of rail spikes and a few spring clips and stuff. Spring clips down there. Apparently these make pretty good knives. I'm not going to say like super amazing edge holding, but better than a rail spike. Way better than a rail spike. Like I said in the previous video, I'll never ever stop making rail spike videos or knives because I love working with rail spikes. I'm pretty sure there's another one laying around here. Here's another one I started. As these videos progress, oh, here's a nicer one I did. There's a few photos of it when it was nice and pretty. There's even some engraving. Oh, there we go. All rusted. I feel so bad about this. I love this thing. Yeah. So if you want to get steel, walk around and ask. When I'm talking leaf springs and coil springs here, best place to go is a car dealership. And I just took a chance and I asked the guy, the salesman, I'm like, hey, so I'm getting into this knife thing now, like really bad, and I kind of need coil springs. Do you guys like have a few, you know, fixed up a few vehicles and they're just kicking around? And he looks at me and he goes, dumpsters in the back, grab as many as you want. We actually pay a guy to take the stuff away. So it's like, oh my. And that's how easy it is. Start with that. Okay, next on the line is a forge, or something to heat up a piece of steel. Sorry, it's freezing in here. It's cold. My first forge I made was out of a Weber barbecue, charcoal barbecue. Cut the bottom out, dropped in a brake router from a truck. It's nice and deep. It's about 3 inches deep, I think, 3-4 inches deep. It's good enough for me. And I put in 1.5 or 1 inch iron pipe up the bottom, T-piece on with a hair dryer for forced air. Good piece of advice. Hair dryers do not last. I burnt out 6 of them, including 2 of my wife. She was really, really mad at me for that. Happy wife, happy life. Okay, so charcoal, you're gonna go through a lot of charcoal, but it works. If you wanna do a weekend project, forge up a rail spike knife, or just a knife out of a piece of mild steel practice, charcoal is gonna work. There are thousands of videos of guys making a homemade forge. There's guys doing it in the ground, digging 2 holes, putting charcoal, wham, done. Using a shop vac, put it in blowing mode and it forces air in. You can use that. I do have a video somewhere on my computer where I show what my old forge looked like when I built this new one, because this one is an outside forge and I'm upgrading it now to an inside one. Okay, if you want to go propane, go propane. This is about the 100th time I've said this sentence now because my phone is testing my patience. We have a hardware franchise here in Canada called Home and Hardware. I walked in there and I bought 10 pieces of fire brick. I stacked 3 of them down bottom. I put 2 on top, another 2, and then I put 3 on top of that. So it's a nice long box. If you watch yesterday's video where I do my introduction, I show you how the forge looks. The burners I built off of a video from YouTube from a guy called King of Random. Massive, huge YouTuber. And the video he has on the propane burners are amazing. Like, he shows you step by step where to start, where to finish, what you need, all that kind of stuff. Check that out. It's a really cheap build and it works really good. So, the next build we're gonna do, or the next video we'll be uploading, is me showing you guys how to make punches. This is a quick one I did a few days ago. We are gonna need punches if we're gonna make our own set of tongs for knife making, blacksmithing, that type of deal. So first video I'll put up after this will be on how to make punches. I'll show you step by step what I do, how I do it, what you'll need, and see if we can get a finished product looking like this or better. Just so that we can punch holes for our tongs that I'll also do a vid on, so I can get everyone set up, especially the new smiths joining the Forging It Forward page. There has been an influx of people joining. It's insane. I love it. It's going to be amazing. And everyone, the admin team of Forging It Forward is there to help. I'm doing my part in putting these videos out so I can get everyone set up. And hopefully at the end, we will be able to forge up really nice looking blades or a tool you need. So, from me here in my little workshop, hope you guys have a really great day. Stay safe out there and stay tuned. If you guys need a notification, hit that subscribe button. There is a little bell thing that lets you know that I posted a video, and we can do a bunch of weekend projects, which I think will be a lot of fun. So everyone out there, have a good day, and talk to you soon. See ya.